you want a lot of this without understanding what it's all about. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thank you for watching my videos. My name is Da Vinci Jeremy. You know how I do. I'm in the 5x5. Joined with Mr. M, Maurizio. Maurizio, how you doing, man?
I love it. Love the intro. Thank you so much for having me on the channel. Hey, everyone. Happy to be here.
Yes, we're going to be talking about the history of money in today's episode and how important it is to understand this asset class that everybody chases after, but nobody really truly understands how it works, why it works, and how, the new money is going to work in the future, which is Bitcoin. So we're going to be talking a bit about that. And most of our knowledge, right, actually came from our favorite book. Which book is that?
Yes. This book.
Bring it up. Yes. It is the Bitcoin Standard. Yes. This book will tell you everything about the history of money. So go check it out. Links in the description below of how to buy that. And I have actually 2 copies of that, and maybe I should give one away or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll think about that for a second. Money has been something that's existed the whole of your lifetime. You've understood money as, I need to go work, I need to get this, and I need to go buy something else. That's it. But it's a little bit more complicated than that, isn't it? Don't you think, Maurizio?
I think it's such a fantastic point. Most of the time, like you said, we don't even know what money is. By the way, I would add on the list of books, another one, which is Rich Dad, Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki. Basically explains what is an asset, what is a liability. That also changed my life. But I agree with you. I think understanding money will be step number 1 to then acquire them, right?
Exactly. Because how can you acquire something or a lot of something if you don't understand anything about it? And money's existed long before you were born. Any of us were born, right? It's existed for all of human history. We've used some form of money. We've used all kinds of forms of money. Name some forms, Maurizio, that we've used in the past.
Oh, so many, like from gold all down to shells, actually in the Bitcoin standard explains that, in certain times they had a different value to exchange things. So they had shells, they had stones, they have some sort of pearl or diamonds or all sorts of things,
Salt.
Salt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these stones, right? These stones here, these big, massive stones.
Silver.
Exactly. Silver was also money. There was a lot of things that was used as money. Now, historically, it was always something that was existing in reality, meaning that it had to be physical, right? Had to be like, this is the money right here, right? It'd be something, right? It'd be like a coin, right? It had to be something physical, right?
And as you taught me, sorry to jump in, as you taught me, it's called sound money because when you drop, it makes a sound.
It makes a sound. That's what our concept of money is something that is physical throughout history. We never really thought about it as something that was digital, right? But we'll get to that in a moment because digital money is the final part of our history. But in the past, it was either something that existed. Now, one of the things that would happen is that we tried different things as money and failed. Why didn't salt work as money, Maurizio? Why? Explain some reasons why salt was probably a bad idea as money.
Yeah, there's probably a couple of examples why it didn't work, but I think there is another concept that I would like to slide in before we talk about salt, which is interesting, is that when you have a small reality, if you have a small village and in the village you have 5 or 10 people or even 20 people, they all know each other. So even if you had a form of money, which it could be stones, it could be salt, it could be silver or whatever, you know who's the owner, and when you exchange it to someone, you actually know how much kind of they have, right? Because it's a really small reality. But as soon as we scale it into a much bigger village, then how do you know? How do you know that the pearl is real? How do you know that the salt is salt and is not sand? How do you know that someone is not tampering silver with something else? So hence, it becomes necessary to introduce different ways for us to exchange value. I mean, salt was probably great because when they didn't have refrigerators, they used to preserve food with salt as much as you did for cooking. So people didn't have electricity, right? So if you want to preserve any kind of food, you used to put it under salt, and that's it. That was one way. But it wasn't portable. It wasn't easy to measure, and it wasn't probably standing weather conditions. So it was probably a really primitive way to exchange value as much as others.
Yes,
but I think it's
one
also
of the problems with salt is that we consumed it. Exactly right there is that we consumed it, and once we consumed it, could we convert the salt back into money again? Once we consumed it, yes or no?
No.
Exactly. This creates a problem. The consumption is one of the reasons why it didn't quite work out as money. Another problem is that, it's just grains of sand, salt, and it's like it can get blown away by the wind. It's not very durable, right?
Yeah, water is going to
if you spill water on it, it's all gone.
Imagine all my savings. Rain destroys all your savings.
It rained and I lost all my savings, right? Or there was a flood, right? And there it goes, right? Not durable, right? And so, and also it was plentiful. Salt is plentiful to find and produce and refine. So this is why, salt just didn't work, because there was a lot of different issues, right, that applied to salt as money. And so, we used other things that are more durable, like a pearl, right, or a seashell. Now, what were some of the problems with those things, seashells and pearls? Do you remember reading that in the book here? I do.
I also remember that I think it's one of the first chapter where it talks about the evolution of money, and he was saying that there was a public ledger, so people used to store. They knew, so you didn't have to keep them in your own house. People knew that was Da Vinci's, that was Maurizio's, that was your neighbor's. Yeah. So there was a need of keeping them in your own pockets. It was all displayed in a public square, right?
Yeah, the large stones. Yes,
exactly.
Everybody knew that stone declared was yours when we're talking about the stones. And so when it comes, going back to the pearls, the problem with pearls and shells is that you could just get more. They're plentiful. Shells are everywhere. I could go walking on the beach right now because I live on the Palm and get you a lot of shells. I could be super rich if that was money. Right?
Yeah, so not really effective, right?
Right? And same with pearls. If you know how to hunt them and find them, you can even grow them yourselves, right? So it is not a good form of money because it's easy to make. Yes, they might be durable. Yes, you can't consume a pearl. You can't consume a shell, right? But they can be destroyed with a hammer and so forth, right? They can be destroyed if you smash the pearl. And a pearl is not fungible. One pearl is different from another pearl. Same with shells. Shells are non-fungible. One shell might be bigger than the other. So what's the value of a bigger shell? Well, what's the value of a shell that looks pretty? Right?
Yep.
That's another key problem with money that might be somewhat durable, but it could be plentiful and it could be non-fungible. So you need money to be something that is durable and fungible, right? So why not copper or brass or steel? How come we didn't use steel as money? There's never been a history where we used any of those things. Well, we did use copper and brass actually, but we'll get to that in a minute.
yeah, because it was supposed to be silver, but then who's watching anyway, right?
Yes. We didn't use steel because it rusted, right? It would oxidize and change colors, right? Even though it was durable. And then brass and copper, well, we did use it to replace silver. And why did we replace silver? Well, first we got to talk about why we had silver in the first place. It was because it was limited in supply, but it was easier to find copper and brass. Very easy to find, refined, but it was difficult to determine if you were with using copper and brass, because really you don't know how to tell whether or not that is actually copper or brass, and there's so much of it. So the best thing was both silver and gold, right? Because it's easy to identify and they're durable. You could just bite into gold or bite into silver because the metals are soft. They're not useful for anything at the time, except for jewelry.
Yeah.
We didn't consume silver, and even if we did consume silver in a utensil or something, we could convert it back to a coin just as easy, almost as easily. And same with gold. It was just used as jewelry, and it could only be used as jewelry. But it could be converted back to coinage, and it still maintained its value. And so that's the key thing, and about the history of money is that we need something that's durable, fungible, identifiable, and it's limited in supply. Without those keys elements, it's not useful as money, right? So we can't use it as money. And that's why we switched to gold and silver. And it was physical, so we could transfer it to everybody else, and right? And it's easy to see that this is going to work. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Milton Friedman said that money has to be something that exists first in our economy, that we use it for something else. I don't know if you read that, but that's what he said. But that's dumb. Do you know why I think that's dumb? Maurizio?
Go for it.
Okay.
I have an idea.
It's dumb because does a mouse trap have to be something else before it actually becomes a mouse trap?
Yeah.
No, we don't have to have the mousetrap become it has to be we used it as an elephant trap, but then we realized should we use this for mice? I mean, no. Right? It doesn't we come up with the mousetrap specifically for mice. So yeah, you could come up with money for like a specific device for money. And so that's what Satoshi Nakamoto did when he came up with the digital money, only pure digital money. And it's the first time in history of mankind that we went from, I wouldn't say first time, because you could say your bank account's digital money, because those are people who don't understand, who think that, Bitcoin is just money in space. Yeah, what's your bank account?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I could take it out. Yeah, but the majority of the money that exists in the planet is not physical. It's just a representation of numbers in your bank. Oh, oops. We already have CBDCs hooked up already.
Yeah. We got TSP.
Damn. Yes. So I really think that people just don't see that. But anyways, how do you feel about the fact that, you know what, the banks want to create these CBDCs, but do they really need to?
I mean, yes and no. I think from a controlling perspective, yes, because they can control the CBDC way more than your bank account, right? Like they have already enough control because they can block you, really? They can stop you.
They can't block the bank account?
Oh, I never heard of that. And even when you say cashing out money,
Andrew Tate doesn't have any bank accounts. You know that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
he's blocked across the board.
Yeah, Yeah, of course, because you have to apply for a bank account, and they have a database of people they don't want to help, they don't want to open accounts for, right? So they can control your finances. But I think CBDCs are on the next level, because once you have a bank account and you're given a card, you can use the card whatever you want. I mean, whoever accepts it. When it comes to CBDCs, they can program money in a way that is scary, because maybe they say you can only use Monday to Friday, no weekends, because we don't want you to use the weekends. You can't go and buy this book on Amazon anymore because we won't let you, because you can only use those money in certain shops. So they can literally have 360 over you. So from a control perspective, I think they cannot wait to say, digital money, CBDCs, let's go, because they can finally, take a full 360 on you.
I don't know about that, because here's the thing, right? Yes, for example, if you go to buy something on Amazon, they don't know what exactly you are buying. I agree with that. At the time that you purchase it, they just know you're buying it from Amazon, and that's it. And but they can stop you from buying certain things from certain stores, right? So right now they have that particular level of granularity with control. They don't have control over where you're spending the money and what item you're buying. Now, I don't think that would exist with CBDCs. So this is why I think they're similar. Our current digital currency at the bank is going to be just as similar as CBDCs. You can't really you can do it to a certain extent, but they'd have to have more digital control over the company, and the company would have to provide, okay, well, what are you buying to the network? And that's just too much data to the network to notify a central authority, what are you buying, right? It's a lot of data, right? And so, they can control only where you're spending the money. So am I spending it to you? Am I spending it to a Walmart or to Amazon? So that's what they've got, and then what they'll get with CBDCs. So I don't know. What's the point of that? Well, because as it stands, right, I can't send US dollars or any kind of foreign currency from Dubai to your bank account in another country. Ever tried to do that? And you're like, oh, you can? Yeah, it gets lost half the time, and it takes days. And I've done it. Yeah, it worked. Keep trying, and you'll see. Eventually, it will fail.
Yeah, exactly. And I think something else I didn't know until I looked into it. Going back to what we were talking about in the beginning, is back in the days in the 70s, they could print money because they had gold. So gold was the store of value, kind of sound money, and they could print money because they had the reserves of gold. Hence why they start tampering with the coin. Because back in the days, when I was giving you, if I was giving you a gold coin, there you go. If I was giving you a gold coin, the gold coin had the value itself. So I didn't have to believe that someone somewhere had a cavo full of whatever. The thing was the value itself. And as soon as we took away the gold standard, I think it was in 71, then people have started to say, well, don't worry, I got this. Yeah, okay, great. And then we are now exchanging things. They're not even worth what we are exchanging, right? At least when we had pearls and salt, okay, it wasn't the best form, but you were actually getting the thing itself. As soon as we start tampering with it, then there is no value, and it's not even yours, exactly. And it's not even there. So it's getting downhill, right? Because like you said, you can take them off the bank, but it's not that easy. I mean, if you want to go and cash out with the ATM $100, you can, but try to take out a couple of 100 million or a couple of 100,000. They're gonna, okay, well, wait, we don't have, well, maybe you should sit down and make you coffee and tea and give you biscuits and sweet you out that you shouldn't touch it. They don't even have it. God knows where they invested into. So the whole thing is a scam, isn't it? And they don't want you to know about money, because as soon as you know and you realize, you go, wait a second. So I don't want to put my life savings in there. I mean, think about time. forget about everything else. Like it's your time. You go to work like 8 hours a day, maybe more. Think about commute and everything. This is your energy, your time, this is the most important asset you have is time, I think. So they don't want you to know, because if you know, you go, wait, maybe I shouldn't leave my money over there. Maybe I should think about investing them into something else. Maybe there is a limited asset. If only there was an asset which is limited and I can own, and that opens up all the conversations.
What that is, man? I just don't know what that is.
I wonder, where can I read about it? But yeah, so they don't want you to be educated. In fact, the old education system is built on letting you believe that, go to work and save money in the bank is great. Of course, because it's like the Roman Empire used to do when they had gold and they started to tamper the coins, and they thought, wait a second, why should I give you the coin which has all the value? Let me give you some whatever cheap stuff, and I'll keep the good stuff. And you trust me, all good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. It works, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? I think we've gone on for about this for a while, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We're gonna do this every weekend. We're gonna be chatting about crypto, money, and how it works, and how we can best use it, and what tools are out there, and so forth. We're gonna be talking a lot about crypto and money in these videos. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you hit the subscribe, you hit the like, you head over to Mr. M's channel. It's called Mr. M's Podcast. Check it out, and links are in the description below, and make sure you subscribe to that as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Cheers.